Thank you, Dalen, and thank you, Paul. As Paul knows, I'm always anxiously engaged in a good cause. At the end of another summer of senseless deaths, America again searches its soul and pursues its demons. The recent shootings in South Carolina have compounded incidents of police violence across the nation. In seeking culprits, we have targeted visible reminders of our difficult racial past. The signs of public and easily recognizable. Confederate flags and statues of Southern politicians and generals not only decorate Dixie, but even the federal Capitol. They are easily found and purchased on the internet. Symbols like words are important. They mark the fault lines that divide us. They represent a past not yet finished and a future still beyond our grasp. If these symbols are removed, many believe we can move our national experiment forward and find the harmony that has long eluded us. This is, however, a delusion. Symbols are only symptoms. When furled or removed from public display, the past is still with us and the present is still broken. Our problem is the failure to face a deeper reality. We have yet to confront pervasive racism, and in denial, we blame only the extremists among us. Our history is long and sobering. The seeds of prejudice were planted even before the founders' enslavement of Africans in colonial Virginia and Massachusetts at the birth of the nation. The Constitution of the new United States recognized and accepted slavery as our leaders proclaimed human rights for all white Americans. Slavery proved profitable in North and South and spread west. As it did, slavery left scars on the backs of blacks and on the minds of whites. The most costly war in American history ended the institution of slavery, but did not usher in an era of racial tolerance in North or South. At the end of the 19th and the beginning of the 20th century, lynchings of black men and women spiked in a white effort to enforce the racial status quo through terrorism. African Americans seeking new lives in the North and West faced segregation and discrimination not by law, but by custom. Blacks in the South found themselves in economic chains as binding as slavery. When Americans faced the threat of Nazism in World War II, we held to our racial prejudices. The Red Cross segregated black blood from white to prevent contamination. The Marine Corps would not accept black recruits. The United States Army created segregated units. The civil rights movement, now seen as part of the American pageant of progress, sacrificed its martyrs and realized only half of its agenda. Black men served and died in the Vietnam War disproportionate to their numbers. Some among us now ignore race and preach the success of a colorblind society. They too are in denial, disregarding a history of inequity and the legacies of prejudice and discrimination. How ironic that in our modern world, public opinion polls count large numbers of Americans who question Barack Obama's American citizenship. Isn't that what African Americans have been seeking for 400 years? Perhaps this summer's soul searching will bring significant change. Perhaps we will move beyond the symptoms of our illness to find the root causes that divide us into tribes. If we do, our focus must not simply be on the outward symbols of prejudice. We must re-examine our long history, and we must re-examine ourselves. Thank you.